And we're here and we're talking about how to be an indie game developer. Up next on Geek Out SA. Welcome back to Geek Out SA. It's Friday and we're having fun. And we're here back with Angel from Hebi Studios. He's come back.
Hi, everyone.
For your second time officially on the show.
Yes.
Here.
So this is take number 765
This is
for
take
Vince
number,
and Angel because
yeah.
they've been at 9,000 conventions together.
Yeah.
Essentially, yes.
Yeah.
I mean, I
We're
see
there all the time.
Vincent everywhere in my sleep, and he's just Vince does a lot. You know, he's like out promoting Geek Out SA and everything else, and I appreciate everything he does, and so that's why.
And you're always at the conventions doing everything, so.
Promoting gaming, which is what we're talking about.
Yeah, we're talking about gaming, how to become an indie game developer. So.
Okay, well, first thing, run headfirst into a wall, and
Yeah.
No.
Repeatedly bash
all
your head.
money in the toilet and
Don't
flush
do that.
repeat.
Yes, flush. No, don't do that. First thing is having a great group of people to support you because it's a lot of work. I mean, I have here Ramon. He's one of my team members. Does 3D modeling. And first thing, have a concept. You know, what you want to do. You just don't want to go, all right, I want to be an indie game developer.
Mm-hmm.
What do you want to make? I don't know.
Indie games, obviously.
Yeah, but what type of game? Who are you?
We've heard that before, though, right?
Yeah.
Like, people may think that we're joking and cracking up, but, like, we've heard these conversations before. Oh, I want to make games. You do? What kind of game? Well, games. I want to make games.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or you have the idea guy.
And have you made a game? I mean, I think the biggest thing about being indie game developer, be it tabletop or video game, is that you need to just do it.
Yes. And
your first one is probably going to not be so great.
It's going to be crap and... Oh, can I say crap?
Maybe a little less than that. Junk, maybe.
Okay, junk.
It'll be yucky.
Okay.
It'll be yucky.
We'll edit that out in post. Oh, wait. We don't do
So-
that.
We don't do editing. So
Okay.
Just say yucky.
Okay, so it will not be up to snuff. And quite literally, my first game, I made it to where it was a joke game. Vince brought it up the last time we were here. I thought everybody would have forgotten about that. Then as soon as Vince mentioned it, everybody was like, make a part 2. It's like, oh, no. But having an idea and then knowing, then from there, okay, I have an idea. How can I implement it? Because I'm sure Vince gets tons of people coming up to him going, I have an idea. You do it. It's like, no.
Oh,
No.
You do it.
You do it.
You do it,
You do
and
it.
then
I'll help
get it.
I'll
Help you
help
get
you,
it out
like,
there.
I'll help
Yeah.
you get it out there,
Yeah.
fine tune it. And there are many different, as far as indie game on the video gaming side, there are a lot of tutorials and a lot of free programs like Unreal, Unity, Blender, and GIMP that can help you out as far as developing an actual video game from scratch. And tutorials on YouTube. We live in a YouTube world where,
For real.
sorry, most colleges
So,
that teach video game development.
I know GIMP is a graphic. It's like Photoshop.
Yes.
Yeah. So you can use that to make like images for that. Can you do other things than?
Creating textures. Like textures are Miss Colleen's skin or the furry on here. That would be the texture. Then Blender, you would do your modeling. That would be the box shape. And all these are free programs. So you're not going to shell out thousands of dollars for your first game.
Yeah, to make a basic game that you're trying to get out.
And you have so many avenues to bring that game to the community, like Steam. Steam does it for free. They're like, put your game up here, promote it, you can sell it. And these are things that are free, you know, that people can do. Here in San Antonio, you do have a lot of organizations that meet up. The IGDA, which...
What does that stand for?
The International Gaming Developers Association. It's a worldwide conglomerate that helps indie studios with health insurance, getting discounts to get into conventions, travel, and tons of benefits to help out indies, because when you're indie, here in San Antonio...
Oh, no.
Yeah, you are broke. You're a starving artist. I mean, Vince knows this. When you're an indie developer, you're essentially an artist. You're creating something, and you're starving. You're like, I still have to work a job, and a lot of the indie studios in San Antonio still do work full-time jobs. And the community here is growing. Vince has seen it blossom from 1 to 2 studios up to umpteen studios. And
I mean, really active. There was just you that was active and actually had a decent
like
a fully fledged game out.
Well, at the time, yeah, I came out beating my chest, because not to bolster my ego or anything, or to bolster myself. I wanted to rally people, saying, "Hey, I'm the only indie studio here. Everybody else come out." Yeah. I want to help you guys. I know it's hard. Like a few people on my team, they saw me and I didn't know how to market my game. That's another thing, marketing your game. I was sitting out in front of GameStop in the rain during a midnight launch going, "Play my game, please, play my game." And next thing you know, we're doing, convention after convention where it's just phenomenal. And that's one way to market your product, because people aren't going to know who you are or what you're doing if they don't see you or play your game.
So your first game... Oh, and hi, Chef. Thanks for watching. Appreciate it.
Hi, Chef.
Your first... well, not your very first game, but your first fully fledged, the one that you're getting out right now, that you have on Steam right now, is Rage Ball.
Yes.
So that's been out there. Everything's good going well with that one?
It's going well. For some reason, our sales are doing better overseas.
Wow.
Like in China, Germany, Russia, France.
Well, do you think that that's because soccer is their sport over there? Like, soccer's not really our sport over here. It's coming of age kind of here in the U.S., but really American football is kind of our sport. And your game is more of like, to me, when I see it, it is more of an homage to kind of soccer. It is. I mean, it's a Pong-ish type game, but it has that soccer feel too. So I kind of get the international link to that.
Yeah, and I mean, I've reached out to people, and the language barrier kind of hurts us a little bit, but they just say it's one of those games that's simplistic yet fun.
I still miss the sound effect.
For you guys, for Game Expo, we will throw it back in there, just for you. So everybody goes, "Is that a dying chicken?"
Or it's Game Expo.
Yeah, doing that. But just knowing who you're marketing to is another aspect.
So when we're talking about Rage Ball, so if you haven't played Rage Ball, they can check it out on Steam.
Yes.
And it's kind of like Pong on steroids, kind of. I don't know how to explain it to somebody who's never seen it.
Yeah.
You're trying to get the ball to the goal, and then there's other obstacles in the way, right? And
there are 9 different levels. We're actually adding more.
So did you develop that game like all by yourself, or were there other people like? For those of us that do tabletop, it's a slightly different than you doing a video game. So I've never seen like a whole video game all the way through, and I think a lot of my students would be interested to know, is it really something that you do all by yourself, or do you have several people that are doing different components that then come together?
It depends on the size of the game. When I first started Rage Ball, it was myself, but then halfway through, I needed help. And, again, phenomenal team, Russ Martinez, Stormy Peroni, a lot of different people came in to help me finish it.
And they did like coding and like what exactly?
Like texture work.
Okay. So some of that stuff you're talking about like on GIMP and stuff like that.
Yeah. Because as Vince stated, I started being everywhere. And it's like, okay, I can't be everywhere and still work on, this project at the same time. And with our next project, since it's a lot larger, my team has gotten larger, and they're all phenomenal people. That's one of the reasons I, wanted, team members here, because Hebi isn't just me. Indie game development isn't just one person. It can be, but it will take you almost close to 10 years to finish the game.
Wow.
I mean, even with our next title, it's gonna, we're projecting at least another 3 to 4 years. Just because everyone says, "Oh, you can develop a video game in a week." No,
I can't even imagine how you can't even develop a tabletop game in a week, and that is more.
But you can do it at a weekend at Game Expo.
You can start it.
You can start
come up
it
with a good idea. Yeah, and you can actually win prizes.
Mm-hmm.
And again, that's the thing. You have different things like that, like events, like Game Expo, that push you to say, "Okay, you have an idea, let's get it down." And once you actually say, "This is a good idea, let me take it to the next step." And you have people like Vince, who does tabletop. You can go, "Hey, Vince, I have this idea. I've already, have the basis of it. Where do I go to print out cards or get artwork or
Well, do y'all
distribution?"
have something like that for the video game side? Like where people can come and if they're not sure or if they've started?
Again, you have different organizations like the IGDA, Greater Gaming Society, which actually is holding a Unity course tomorrow. With that, what they do is, if you don't know Unity, they actually go through it step by step with you.
Is there like a fee to learn that, or?
No. Actually, everything's free. I know with the IGDA, it is a $50 a month fee, but that's only because you get so much out of it.
Right, and it's an international thing. But for
Yeah.
the San Antonio group, well, where do they meet and stuff? So you can tell people who might be interested in like joining or learning more about.
They can actually go to Geekdom on the 7th floor.
Seventh floor.
Yeah,
it's
7th
on
floor.
East Houston.
Yes. I know tomorrow night it will be at 7 p.m., but don't quote me on that. If you have any questions.
Is there like a Facebook
So-
or something
Yes.
I could look at?
So, before, other than doing that, you have another game. You have another game coming, and I've seen preliminary stuff on it. But tell us more about that game.
It's actually, okay, with Rage Ball, we wanted to do a family-friendly game, where everybody can play it. With our next title, I told my team, I want somebody to have a heart attack. So we went to the other end of the spectrum. I want a horror game that's so that's so scary that, yes, somebody will have a heart attack.
Mm-hmm.
Not saying I actually want that. Wait, not say no more. But no.
I feel scared.
But no. To actually be able to know that we can create a game that envelops or invokes fun, friendly atmosphere, plus instilling fear, to show that we can do it all.
And that's like a new, not that it's a new, but it's very, very big. Like for a while, my students were playing this app game called Grandma.
Oh, yeah.
And she like chases you around and tries to attack you and finds you under the bed. And so it's like this creepy thing, and you're like in this creepy house, and then here comes Grandma, and she's dilapidated and trying to get you and stuff. And then like random kids, they're just in the hallway, and then you hear they're screaming, and you're like, oh no, get off your phone.
I mean, and people nowadays, for some reason, want to have that fear level push. They want to have that push. And our next project is for the Oculus Rift and HTC Vive.
So this one is VR.
Yes. And Oculus being one of our sponsors, they said, here's an Oculus. It's like, what do we do with it? So
make good things happen out of it.
yes, and again, it goes back to that having an idea. When I was still working on Rage Ball, halfway through it, I said, I'm done. I need a break. I need to work on something else because, I don't know how it is for tabletop, but you kind of get burnt out.
Mm-hmm.
And you say, let me work on something else. I'm definitely going to come back to this, but let me work on something else for a little while. So
I know exactly
Yeah,
what you
because
mean.
actually the more you look at it, the more you start to make mistakes on it sometimes,
Yeah.
so you do need a break from it.
Or the time you
Yeah.
just like overthink it and make it more complicated than it needs to be.
yeah, so I started working on this horror survival-esque game. And at first I was going to call it The Room. And then one of my friends, Russ Martinez, he said, oh, that's the worst movie ever. You can't name it that. The Room? No.
That is a terrible movie, actually.
And-
It's very
and-
depressing and horrible.
And I was like, no, it's not. And I watched it and I'm like, all right, changing the name. This is the worst movie ever.
Yeah, name it that.
So, but I put that on the shelf. And then once we launched Rage Ball, I was like, all right, we're done. 2 days later. What are you making next? Oh, can I get a break? But okay, you know, I started working on this other project. It's kind of my take on Dantes Inferno.
Nice.
You're a father and or mother. The player gets to choose whether or not they're male or female, and you're traversing the 9 layers of. Can I say that word?
Yeah.
That's
Okay.
hell.
No.
Traversing
It's a place.
9 layers of hell to find a loved one. We're not going to tell you who. Got to play the game. And again, it's not something where we're trying to, be edgy or anything like that. We're taking a classic novel, putting our spin on it, VR, and pushing the limits of what we can do personally. Because
So do you see it like more like horror, like Diablo-esque, like that kind of horror, and not like Freddy Krueger kind of horror, or
more Diablo-esque.
more Diablo-esque?
But VR.
Yeah. And another thing about being an indie developer is you always have to push yourself to be better or to do better. And by surrounding yourself with good people, they're always going to say, hey, you can do better. Or there are days when I feel like giving up. I mean, Vince will say, don't give up, get back in there. I'll run ideas by Vince, and he's like, that's great, but what if you fine polished it this way? I mean, Ramon, he's always putting his 2 cents in, and it's like, I didn't think of that. Okay. Ramon, here's a cookie.
Third one today.
Yeah. I mean, Juan Carrillo, he's been phenomenal. He's like my conscience. Right-hand man. We also have Luis Leja. I mean, really good animator. Cole, Cole, or Princess Cole, as we call him. Level designer. This guy, yes, this guy cranks out levels like it's nobody's business. And
That name is sticky no matter what.
So what does that mean to crank out a level? Like you lost me.
Kind of like when you build a house, kind of like that. Like,
I've never built a house either.
okay.
well, what it is in video gaming, or I'm sure in tabletop, you have a blueprint of how you want the game to run out.
Yeah,
Of the level or anything like that. And I say, okay, Cole, here are the assets that I've already built. Here's a blueprint of the level. Build it. He's like, okay, give me 2 days. I'm like, no, it'll take you a month. 2 days later, here you go. It's like, dude.
But when he builds the level, is it just like... So I'll use Diablo as an example, because that's one I can think of that I play all the time. So like in Diablo, it's like, you can go right or you can go left, and it's like the ground looks like stone. And is he designing, he's not designing the texture and the stone and everything, he's just designing the rights and the lefts, and you can go down, and he's designing the options of which way you can go?
It's more like Lego. I gave him the assets or building blocks. And it's like, okay, Cole, here's the blueprint. Just put the Legos or the pieces where they're supposed to go on the map.
Basically just puts the thing together. He's basically building it.
So they're kind of like storyboarding it.
Yeah. Because you have people who do the hard surface modeling, like Ramon. He'll come and say, okay, we need a table. Or I'll say, Ramon, I need a table. He'll build a table. I'll say, okay, I need texture for the table. Somebody else will do the texture for the table.
She knows what storyboarding means.
I'll have somebody else say, or I'll tell somebody else, do the texture for the table.
Mm-hmm.
And then I say, okay, Cole, here's a blueprint for where the table's supposed to go. Put it in the game. And he'll do that.
Okay.
And if we have John, who's doing our character modeling, and he's phenomenal at that.
And do they have to... It's not like back in the day, right? You don't have to write actual code, right? You're not typing words
No,
and all that. Okay.
No, not for that aspect. The only time you're really writing code is to tell the player what to do, or in certain instances, like, okay, there's a wall right there. Let's write a code so you don't walk through the wall.
Because I wrote a short little game in high school, and this is going to tell everybody how old I am. And we had to write it in Pascal.
Oh, yeah, I remember doing stuff like that.
And then I messed up one of the lines, and so, my little carriage was going along, and then the whole screen turned yellow, and I was like, and so the professor was like, yeah, you missed a pixel somewhere, and you over pixelated, and you didn't write the code right. So then you're searching through lines and lines of code. It's like totally not like that anymore, right?
No. And one of the good things, even if you're new to coding or programming, there are tons of tutorials. Like Unity, for me, has been like really phenomenal. A lot of people who are artists.
And Unity, like you were saying, is free.
Yes.
So the thing about that is there are aspects that you can pay for to incorporate within Unity.
Yes.
To make things easier?
Yes. Like you can actually buy assets. Like, let's say if I didn't want to write, code for my character or anything like that, or I didn't know how to. All right, somebody's selling it for like $5. Buy it. It's not stealing or anything like that because they're actually selling it. You're still giving them, their due. Saying, hey, I need help. Some people like myself, I do things the hard way. It's like, all right, let me figure this out. And 2 days later, and it's broken. Okay, I'll call someone like Mark from the Greater Gaming Society, or and I'll say, Mark, I broke it. What do I do? And he'll shake his head and go, all right, give me 5 minutes to figure out what you did. And 2 minutes later, he's like, all right, you missed this spot. Unreal. That's another free program you can use. That's more for your artists who aren't programmers. So you have what's called blueprints. With blueprints, you can more or less just drag and drop. It's like the coding is already instilled in
Like it has prefab like torsos and stuff like that you like kind of mix together.
Well, it's more like prefab coding.
And the Unreal Engine came from Unreal Tournament, right?
Yes. And those guys were amazing at, marketing that. So those are your two. I mean, even AAA studios use Unity and Unreal. Because if you're going to make a video game and you don't have a game engine, you're like, you know what, I don't want to use Unity or Unreal. You have to make your own game engine. So that's going to be about another 10 to 15 years right there. Unless you have a team of like 100 programmers.
Like, I think Konami did that for the last Metal Gear. Did a brand new engine.
Yeah. But again, they have the money, they have the resources. So when you're
indie,
indie,
Konami, so
yeah. When you're indie, it's like.
But they don't have Hideo anymore.
Yeah. And doing indie game development, it also comes down to friends and family, having your back, community, reaching out to people, just being able to say, hey, I need help. And people actually helping you. And like myself, Vince has asked me time and time again, why do you help so many people? And it's like, that's just in my nature. I want to help everybody and make sure everybody is happy. And I've had people say...
Everybody happy. That's cute.
And, I mean, my team has seen me. I look like I'm about to pass out right there. And they're like, why are you so tired? I haven't slept in about a week, helping everybody, doing everything.
I don't even need to ask you because I already know.
No, I slept last night.
Yeah, you look like you slept, actually. It's the first time in a long time, buddy.
Yeah, you look rested today.
So,
you do look rested today,
that's
so
the thing.
that's good.
We did San Japan, and that kind of, took its toll, and I was just like, you know what? Monday, I told everybody, I said, don't call me.
And you mentioned that right now, and that's a big thing, other than just making a game, is going out there and showing off your game. Because once you make a game, who's going to play it?
Yeah.
Nobody knows about it.
No.
I mean, it's like a rapper. They're doing shows after shows to get their name out there. Or any musician, they're doing shows. They're dead tired, but they may have...
Yeah, and they got to start somewhere small. Sometimes it's at a bar or somewhere, and they just keep playing and playing until somebody sees them and gives them a bigger gig.
Yeah.
Yeah, so sometimes you go to, like, small cons, and you work them for a long time, and then you get a bigger gig, and you work that for a while, and, then you get some people playing your game on Twitch or something, and then, you kind of go from there.
I mean, and at conventions, you never know who's going to be there. We did one convention in Dallas. The Marvelous Nerd Tacklers convention in Dallas, and horrible convention. Convention went bankrupt before the convention ended, but this one little boy came up and played Rage Ball, And he was like, oh my God, I love this game. And he had on a vendor's badge. And I'm like, you're kind of young to be a vendor. Who are you here with? And he's like, my dad. And I'm like, who's your dad? He's like, Kevin. Kevin who? Kevin Sorbo. Kevin Sorbo who? And he was like, let me go get my dad. And I was like, oh, this kid, you know, he's just joking. Coming back, it's Kevin Sorbo. I'm like, Hercules, Hercules, Hercules. And
That's awesome.
Kevin Sorbo played our game, and he was like, dude, I love your game. You know, and till this day, Kevin and I still talk. And he was like, yeah, my son loves your game. You know, how can I help you guys out? And I said, we're working on the next title. We need a voice actor. He's like, all right, I'll do it. We're indie. I can't pay you. He's like, I'll do it for free. Hercules, Hercules, Hercules.
That's awesome.
But again, you know, doing conventions, you never knew who you're going to meet. You know, that, and it's all about networking too.
Yeah,
You
that
know?
was what Phil was telling us too. We've heard this a lot the last couple of months. Is about networking, and I think people forget about that, and they don't necessarily know how to do that anymore. It's kind of gone to the wayside, like it's not important to people, but we don't live in this microcosm of our phones and of social media. Like sometimes you have to get out in the world and talk to people and meet people and engage with people. So
I mean, and Ramona's seen it. One of the things, like at a convention or an event, like right before it, I'm dead tired. But as soon as I talk to that first person, I perk up because myself personally, I'm there for, you know, the patrons, the people, and everything like that, because they come to conventions not only to see us, but to have a good weekend, to have fun. They may have a bad week or something like that. So if they can play Rage Ball and get excited and go, oh my God, I feel happy after this. Or they play the Lost One and go, oh my God, now I got to go change my pants. You know, either way, you know we made an impact on their lives. And people tend to forget that the patrons are, you know, these are people who, they're going to talk. They're going to, you know, when your game comes out and they go, well, I met them at a convention, they were rude, or they weren't there, or, I mean, and boycotts do happen, you know. And if you're indie, any little bad press, you know, will hurt. So that's one of the reasons I try to go to every convention. I try to say hi to everybody, and I'm running around. My team was like, they'll go, where's Angel? There he goes. There he goes. There he goes. Oh, he's here for 2 seconds. There he goes. And
It's just you have to go out there and you have to meet people, and that's the only way to get around in the industry.
I mean, when I first met Vince, it was at San Japan? No, Alamo City Comic Con.
It was Alamo City Comic Con, yeah.
Yeah, and he was doing interviews and stuff, and came up to me, and we were, you know, been friends ever since.
I was actually looking back, and I saw our first video that we made.
Oh my God.
I looked at that and I was like, God, I lost so much weight. You know, I'm like, oh, I slimmed down. But no, again, that starving artist is like, okay, peanut butter and jelly sandwiches today, yay! And again, with conventions like San Japan, Alamo City Comic Con, you know, Realms Con, giving indie studios these chances to showcase their games, you know, and not have to pay a booth fee. Because most conventions, you're paying anywhere from $300 plus electricity up to $50,000. And E3, look it up, people, $50,000 for a 10 by 10 space. It's like, okay, that is a Super Bowl of video gaming, but ouch.
Yeah, but
it's a lot of money.
Like,
and people pay it, so it's like I can't be mad about that. But I'm indie. I can't afford that.
Yeah.
Stand outside.
True.
So what are some of the things that you can do as an independent game developer to be able to like get into like these bigger conventions like San Japan or even PAX South? Or
well, again, with the IGDA and the Greater Gaming Society, we both help people, or both of those organizations help people to get into conventions. Because starting out, again, myself, I was in front of GameStop. The first 2 years of doing conventions, I was paying for every convention out of my pocket. And I know how bad that hurts. You know, when you're paying the first year, I spent almost $450,000 of my own money.
Wow.
That was my life savings retirement. I told people, this is what I'm doing. One person said, why not quit? I said, that would be like me stop breathing or not breathing. I would have to literally be dead. And seeing other studios, again, wanting to help people, saying, okay, I don't want you to have to go through the struggles that I went through. To go, okay, am I paying for this convention or am I eating? Paying for convention, eating. Paying for the convention. And a lot of people do have families too. So, you know, you can't say, all right, look, all right, Susie, you can't eat today because Daddy's doing this convention. And if we can get people into these for free, it helps out a lot.
Well, and I think what people don't realize is, you know, and especially I've talked about this before here in San Antonio, like we pay such a large amount of money to go to some of these cons, right?
Yes.
And in here in San Antonio, we're not one of the like highest paid, you know, cities around there. So sometimes for these convention badge prices for the patrons, like you were talking about, it's a lot of time and effort and work and money. So to get to go to y'all, where here's something, I've paid all my convention money and I've paid to see celebrities and to stand in line and all this other stuff, but then y'all are there with these video games and I can play your game, I can maybe talk to you and learn some of this stuff about Unity and I can learn stuff from my kid that might be interested in game design or whatever. Like I think that's the nice thing that y'all offer is you're offering these patrons something else that they get to do. You know?
Because another thing is like for the younger students, there are programs here in San Antonio that help them out. And a lot of people, when they come up and talk to us, they don't know that. They're like, my kid wants to develop video games. How do they start? And, you know, we give them this information because, again, without us doing these events, people don't know where to send their kids to or who to talk to. And another good program, you know, for kids, young adults, can't say kids anymore, young adults, is SAC. It's a program that's actually free. It's an after-school program for kids that helps them at least learn the basics. So that way they can grow and go, okay, I have an idea. And once they finish school, they can go, I have a good idea. Let me, you know, fine-tune it and keep working on it.
And then they kind of have a mini portfolio too, which I think a lot of people aren't good at these days either.
Yeah, and that's a big thing that
is true.
I've even discussed with our kids that wanted to go in. Oh yeah, I want to be a game developer. Have you made a game?
Yeah,
There's stuff out there to even make easy games. Have you even done that?
Yeah.
And they're like, no. Why would I need to do that?
I mean,
I'm just gonna wait until I learn until they teach me in college. It's like you could do it now.
Yeah, or even in college, they tell you. Ramon just graduated from the Art Institute. They tell you get something in your portfolio because when I've worked in the for AAA companies, and I've been to conventions where Capcom people have brought up their portfolios and they said, "Yeah, I'm not gonna touch that. You haven't developed anything, so go away."
Yeah, I mean, there's so many people that want to be in the industry. You have to stand above, right? So if you can go and take your kids, even like my junior high students, if some of y'all are watching, like we can start getting you guys coding and making little games and stuff like that, and getting them out into the community, like to SAC or something, so that they can learn some of these skills. You really kind of want to start your kids early if that's where your kid thinks that they really want to go.
Like right now, we just took on a 12-year-old. Her father said, "Hey, my daughter wants to have her own video gaming production company." I said, "Okay." Sat down, talked with this little girl, and it's like, "This is me, only younger." So you know, I had her father sign a bunch of NDAs, contracts, everything because I don't want anything. And it's like, all right, if she goes to a convention, you're going to be at a convention. So both, So it's like I have two interns essentially, but just to kind of show her the ropes. The only reason she doesn't go to SAC is because she's also in the STEM program. So her schedule is like crazy. But she'll text me at 2 o'clock in the morning going, "Yeah, so how do I do this?" "I'm sleeping." "Okay, I'm up now." "All right, so, and I'll help her out. Granted, a lot of, other people won't do that. They're like, call me or text me between these times. As I told my team and everybody in the city knows, you can call me at 2 a.m. and 9 times out of 10 I'm out. Unless it's right after a convention, don't call me.
Now, is there something like an easier platform that use to make like a basic game, other than like like Unity or stuff that is a little more complicated for like kids?
They can use programs like RPG Maker. That's really simplistic. It's just drag and drop, as well as.
I'm just trying to remember these things so that I can show them.
Trust me, I can tell you all of them. What was the other one?
There was Java.
Well, people still use make games in Flash. I mean, that would be, I'd say, the starting out there, because yeah, the first game I did was in Flash, and then it was like, okay, it's a good game, people like it, and I'm gonna do it in Unity, porting it over.
I think isn't there something like Codeorg or something like that kids can use. I've been trying to look at stuff too for my students, but I don't know, so I'm like not the best teacher. I can teach other things, but like not this. Not
well,
right.
you have free programs that teach coding, like Code Academy, Udemy. Trying to think of the other one, but those are the two major ones. Code Academy teaches you everything from the Hello Me, all the way up to web page development.
Yeah, so there's a code.org.
Okay.
Yeah, so that one it's a drag and drop thing too. So you kind of have like a sidebar, and you can drag the little code, and you pick a little character, and because I practiced it a little last year, and you can like make the duck, and he walks up and he does a little song or whatever. There's like a bunch of different things that you can do. So
they should do that with Baby Shark.
Baby Shark.
Baby Shark. Baby
Oh,
Shark.
no,
Baby Shark.
I don't get that
Baby
at all.
Shark.
I don't get it.
We were singing that last night for like 15 minutes.
Oh, dude, at the
No,
convention, we were singing it for
no.
like hours. Oh, you guys, I'm sure your viewers are like, we tuned in for,
We tuned in for Baby Shark.
Yeah, it's like,
Hey.
they're going to stay here and sing Baby Shark?
We'd
Okay.
probably get more viewers.
Probably if we all just started singing Baby Shark.
Yeah, singing Baby Shark and just doing a dance with it.
So what are some of the business aspects that people don't?
Oh, there are
Think
tons.
of.
Like when I first started Hebi, I was like, okay, I'm an indie studio. I'm gonna make video games. And one of my first investors said, all right, how are you gonna market it? I don't know. So doing conventions, is one of the better ways. Passing out flyers, and
Angel's like, I drew the logo by myself.
yeah, it's like pretty, isn't it? It's pretty. You like it? No,
which was really cool is I saw the LED lamp thing
Yeah,
That's cool.
that was
y'all
actually,
had made.
That was actually
really
created
cool.
by Diamond, who is, again, our intern's father. He actually does LEDs for at home as well.
Oh, cool.
Nice.
And I will provide Vince with that link, so that way he can give it to you guys.
Awesome.
And again, just doing conventions, getting out there, because marketing is the hardest part. That's the most expensive part. And doing conventions, not just your bigger conventions, but your smaller conventions, because you never know who's going to be there. One of the reasons we got like Oculus as one of our sponsors is because they said, we've seen you at almost every convention, even the small ones. How do you do it? Just like, I'm tired. Just like, maybe voice acting. That's for the week. So they just said, here you go. Like, and they just gave us the Oculus Go 2. It's like the little version of the Oculus.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh my God, what do we do with this? And they just said, develop on it. Okay.
Okay, I'll make things.
Also, AT&T, giving us, things because they're like, hey, we see you out in the community, wanting to help and wanting to do things, as well as doing conventions. So there are perks to doing conventions. It is tiring. It does hurt. It wears on your body bad. I'm sure Vince just came home from conventions going, all right, I'm going to soak in a bath of everything because I hurt.
Yeah, we've come home dehydrated.
Oh,
yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
Well, no, my team will tell you that's one thing I always make sure to have is water. I tell them eat. I mean, I bring food. Granted, it's not steak, but it'll be, ham and cheese sandwiches.
I mean, that's what we used to do too. Yep.
But I tell them
Bring
eat.
in the cooler.
Eat, wear comfortable shoes.
Yep.
Because myself, I have really flat feet and I'm pigeon-toed. So at conventions, yeah, these guys, they're like, why do you look like you just got beat on the bottom of your feet? And it's like, I feel like that.
Yeah.
It's a lot of walking.
Yeah,
a lot of walking.
How important do you think Twitch has become to marketing?
Twitch, it all depends on which Twitch streamer you get, because you have some that are really popular with a certain group. You have some that are, they just do it, you know, every now and again. But if you get like your Twitch streamers like Apple Spicer, who's here in San Antonio, play testing your game and promoting your game, not paying her, but, you know, just saying, give me your honest opinion. If it sucks, let me know why, you know. So because that's another, that is the most important thing, constructive criticism. People will let you know what they think at conventions. You have to have thick skin, because you'll cry. The first time somebody said, well, Rainfall is just Pong, people had to stop me from going to jail. Because it's a lot of labor of love when you do something like that. So, you know, being able to take criticism, but
yeah, I dealt with the same thing where I played app with somebody, and they're sitting there and say, I don't get it.
Or I love I could have made this, really, but you didn't.
Yeah, you know, those people, those are the people you love. But no, like telling Twitch streamers, you know, give me your honest opinion, you know, play my game, you know, show it to your viewers. And again, you meet a lot of these Twitch streamers at conventions, you know, and again, you never know who you're going to meet. You know, met Apple Spicer, she came up to play Rage Ball, and she was like, hey, I'm going to come to your launch party. And she came, had a blast. And then media coverage is another way. And the media goes to conventions. They're not going to go, okay, so who's sitting in their house developing a game right now? Let me just randomly dial a number. Are you developing a game? No? Okay. Are you? No?
No.
So you have to get out there and, you know, do that.
Visibility.
Yeah, but Twitch does help. I know that, who is it? Another company just started up a streaming service. Wasn't it? It wasn't Google.
Microsoft did.
Yeah, Microsoft.
Yeah.
That's who. Because they were at PAX last year. Twitch wasn't there, so the Microsoft version of Twitch was there. And again, doing conventions, networking with people, you know, showing, because these people are at these conventions. If you want Twitch streamers to play your game, you're not going to call them up randomly or message them and go, hey, I've been following you for 18 years. Can I come by your house and you play my game? That's just going to sound creepy. You know, so
maybe you should add that to your horror game.
Yeah. You know,
and on that note, Angel, thank you for coming by and hanging out with us again. We've run out of time, but we could talk here for we could talk here for hours. But thanks for checking us out. It was really fun. If you haven't subscribed to us, please subscribe to us and click the notification bell, and you'll see when we go live or when we release a new video. But thanks for checking us out. I'm Vince.
I'm Colleen, and that's Angel, and that's Stuart, and that's Vince.
And that's Ramon.
And that's Ramon.
Geek out, SA.